at the core of what we do, what we're all about is people.
Yeah.
Because technology is just an enabler. It's about people and the heart and that level that I think matters most. We don't want to be the biggest. We want to be the best at what we do. So it's not about change for change's sake. But if we're not growing, everyone around you is growing. The world is changing. Like, it is different today. So if you are still doing what you did 10 years ago, everyone's moved on. It's actually not about having all the answers straight away. It's about being that person that is going to see it through and going to find out how it's done and be accountable for it after that. There's so much more than price. If you're competing on price, what a boring game to play in. Like,
You're listening to Beyond Growth with Rayan Fernando.
Tristan Ellett, founder of Big Fish Technology. Welcome to Beyond Growth.
it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. Really excited having a chat.
Yes, mate, and we are in new digs today at the State Library. So nice to be in a different studio and recording, and so good to for you to join me in today as well. And I'm excited to go through the Big Fish Technology journey, but then also your journey as well. You've done quite a bit outside of business, which has obviously helped you become the leader you are today. So quite a few things to go through. So keen to dig in.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it.
So let's. I know you've sort of been helping businesses for 20 plus years, cut through IT complexity, and get their best work done. But I guess when business owners come to you and say, "Hey, our IT is a mess these days," what do you reckon they're actually meaning, and what are the real impact IT has?
It's. I was having this conversation on the way in this morning into the State Library, and people don't know what they want, but they know what they don't like, and they would love to get more out of their tech or have less problems, but they're just not sure how. And there's so many subspecialties in technology in so many areas. I love hearing people, what's the pain here? What's the issue? What are the challenges? And let's lean into that to understand how we can help you level up and change things for you. And it's always been, I believe strongly in there's a problem or there's a need, and technology is the great enabler. It allows you to just go places that you couldn't otherwise. And people, I'm not an expert. I sit in the dentist's chair and I just open my mouth and say, just do what you need to do. Like, I don't know, understand it. I don't get it. They send me a bill at the end and I've got a brighter smile or I've got less pain. And it's similar, I think, in all these specialties in IT. It's like, let us do what we do best. We understand the whole gamut of technology and how things connect and work and where the risks are. And I think so much is about trust. People want to find a partner they can trust as well.
I think that's, look, you hit the nail on the head right there, the end there with the trust. It is, isn't it? Like, I think looking back at my time in IT, the ones that hung around are the ones we just created great trust with, and they knew that we had their best intentions in mind. And we're doing the best we can with the IT as well. In saying that, I've been out of the game for about 3 years, and
it's completely changed. It's a new game.
It is ridiculous, mate. I cannot comprehend the stuff that and the complexity that IT companies and MSPs, TSPs have to deal with these days. Yeah, I mean,
I remember when the cloud first became a thing and hypervisors first became a thing, virtualization.
Yeah.
I was like, this is it. This is the pinnacles where we get to, and then everything's just going to be this level playing field. And gee, I got that wrong because it's constantly evolving and changing. And so much of our life is becoming more digitized, and everything is on a computer. And then for all the security around that, the access to that, the controls around that, and what systems integrate with that and using that data. And now in the AI world, it's about how we're leveraging big data to get more information. So And so I'm kind of thinking, is it now going to end? Have we now reached the pinnacle? Is that it? And I'm old enough and smart enough now to go, no way. It's going to keep going.
And look, I must admit, I don't envy where where MSPs and TSPs are these days, because it is not a minefield, but it can be to a certain degree. But also, like, there's just so much opportunity there as well, like how you add value, but then what your role is, right? So as a TSP or MSP, what your role is in the space as well has changed so much. Like you said, hypervisor days, right? Pushing boxes, but okay, cool, we can virtualize that, and now we can do this, and we can move it to the cloud. But now it's it's governance, it's AI, it's cybersecurity, and then AI impacting cyber. Oh my God,
absolutely,
it's crazy.
The day, because it used to be, we've come out of the information era, I think. Like, so the data is there, and the knowledge era around AI, and it's not because everyone knows the answers. So in some sense, people can come to me. I had this call with a client last week, and they looking forward to going ahead, and they said, "Look, I've just got a couple of questions for you," and hit with these 4 or 5 questions, and I was like, these are good questions. And it was chatting to the guy about it. And he's like, just to be honest, I didn't think of those questions. I put in our scenario into AI and this is what it came back with. And it was obvious, but people are now more knowledgeable. They're asking smarter questions because they've got those skills. That's fantastic. It's going to mean that we all level up and go further because there is more information, there's more understanding, more knowledge available to the average user.
That level up is so amazing for small businesses too. I think they just, like you said, the fact that that what questions to ask, or you can go to any professional services and you're kind of not going to get bamboozled as much anymore, which is good.
It's funny how it's simplified. So in the past, it'd be so much information we'd give to try and explain things. These days, if it's not on a page, if it's not easy to consume and understand, people won't have the time to do it. They don't have the interest. This is where I come back to trust. I will need to know that my partner understands me, they get me, they care about where I'm trying to get to, they care about me, they can help me get there. And even though things are more complex now, we're having to make that more simple for people to understand and consume. And that's been, to be able to communicate in that way, but also to make sure nothing is missed and that they've got full understanding, because there is a whole lot of detail behind what goes on. The decisions people make today, I was speaking to this customer this morning around their primary software selection, the impact that decision today goes on for 20 years. Like, you don't want to be changing those core platforms in this particular industry down the track. So you've got to make good, smart decisions now and spend time to do that properly.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm falling into that trap of too much information and just maybe not overload, but generally if I work with a bunch of people and I trust them, like, I don't need the full explanation stuff anymore, right? Like, I'm like, just give me the high level stuff and I trust you to do what you need to do and we'll move on. And I think it's a good place to be, I think. And but ultimately it's building that trust, but then being knowledgeable in the area too, right? Like, I guess you still got to do the work.
Yeah. The more you get into technology, the more I realize I don't know. And I say this to a lot of when the guys start at Big Fish, like, I just want to master this. I'm like, and I want to encourage that, help them master that. But I also try and reality check in. You'll also, the more you get into it, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And that's why we've got a really broad team of people who have specialties, have experience, because one person can't do it all. One person can't be the expert in all these different areas. It takes that team around it, which is where that overall business trust relationship comes into play. It's like, you're not just buying Tristan, you're not just buying that person. It's the whole company. It's the ethos. It's the values. And that phrase, you used it before. I think I used it, maybe you followed me, but level up. We sat down as a leadership team a few years ago and said, like, why does Big Fish exist? What is it about us that makes us different and that we are most passionate about? And the biggest thing that comes out, it's about leveling up. And that is a different journey for everyone. Like, some people just want to go that little bit. They just want to have some basic security. Other people want to level up and go to enterprise grade security and really do a whole lot more. So it's about understanding what's the journey that you're on, where are you today, and where's the end state? Because everyone wants that nirvana, that perfect, beautiful aspirational thing to be there, but it takes steps to get there and the operational maturity and so forth to do that. So leveling up has become a huge part of, we see ourselves, we are here to help people level up their technology. What that means for them is based on that different environment. But level up is, every time I hear that phrase, level up, it's like, we own that space. That is us. So I like hearing it. Keep using it.
I know. Well, and look, it is. I feel like it's, even with my journey at the moment, every year seems to be like a level up, and you've got to, and I think you've sort of said simply, and if you're not growing, you're moving backwards, right? And that's such a, especially in the world we're in right now, staying level, especially as a business, it literally is like you're going backwards.
It's a really hard pill to swallow. When I first heard that, I was from a mentor when I was first starting out. It's like, if you're not growing, you're going backwards. Like, no way. Like, you can just maintain the status quo, and that's okay. And because the goal for us hasn't been, we want to be and we all have those circumstances where we go into the situation and go, wow, I'm now behind here. It's like, I'm constantly being challenged to go further, level up. What's my understanding, my knowledge here? Because if you just maintain the status quo, that is not what everyone else is doing. There is constant changes there.
Oh, mate. And so much more now with AI in the play. I find, you take your eyes off the AI space for maybe a month because I'm like, I don't need it as much as some businesses do.
Mm-hmm.
And you go like, oh, it can do that now.
Yeah.
So, and if businesses are on that, the level up factor is so much like just quicker. We're transitioning to that next level so much quicker.
It's so in the AI, we're in this AI arms race at the moment. And reading the articles this morning about some of the big court cases going on over in the States. I think where we are at the moment in AI, we are scratching the surface. So everyone's had a go at using some things, but what it's going to do in the next 10 years is dramatic. And there's some nervousness about that. But if you just don't get into it and start trying it, it's like any technology that came out, if you just don't start giving that a go and playing with it. In the old days, you used to, you'd read the user manual and you'd learn it all and then you start using it. Now it's just play, just get in there. It doesn't cost anything to play and try that. Got to do that safely.
Yes.
There's got to be good governance around that and data controls. But you've got to just get in there and do that. I remember sitting down with an accountant a few years ago, and I was talking about AI, and I said, look, and they said to me, there's no way AI will ever replace what I do. Like I've got so much experience and information and knowledge and understanding, it'll never replace me. And I felt sorry for this guy. It's like you are missing the point here. Like everyone is replaceable with that knowledge, that information. It changes what we need to focus on, the priorities and how we process data, how we make decisions. It changes all of that. It's a huge, huge shift. So the next 10 years, I think what we're seeing today, people are excited. It's cool. It's amazing what's going on. Where it's going is going to be even greater. So what we've had in the last couple of years has been monumental, but that is 2x compared to what's going to be the 10, 100x down the track.
That's scary and exciting at the same time.
It is. It is. And I'm. If you ask my team, I'm not great at change. The ongoing joke for many years was like, oh yeah, Tristan's still running Windows 98. It's like I wasn't good at change.
It was a good operating system.
It was stable.
Solid.
It was really good. Don't go onto ME. It was a
ME. Don't even start.
I didn't realize you were that old. This is good. we can reminisce. But I've had to learn. Like you just got to embrace it. You got to lean into it. And there is opportunity that is exciting. That is good. That opens new doors. That opens new potential. Like we wouldn't have developed as a race unless we had taken on these things and done these evolution steps. So we need to be careful and do that together and do that well. And at the core of what we do, what we're all about is people. Yeah. Because technology is just an enabler. It's about people and the heart and that level that I think matters most.
I think so too. And I think if the key piece, I think, as we go through into this space is, like you said, the people, right? Like if we can work on being better people and actually helping and being in the room and lifting people up and enabling people with the technology, like that's like we could do so much, right?
There's often, we work in a small industry. I know the peers. I love the peers. Love going to the engagements with my colleagues because we're all trying to solve the same things together.
Yeah.
And if another MSP down the road has had a problem or has had this issue with a customer, or something's gone down and had a big impact, that impacts the end user, like be it a medical consumer or a financial planning consumer, like it impacts all of us. Like I want to see the whole industry level up and grow together, and it's helping each other out. And there is a great community. I mean, you've obviously been part of that, but it's a great community of people. We're all trying to help our customers improve what they're doing, and let's work together on that and help each other out with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's that peer mentoring, that's such a huge space as well. And I think it's so valuable because you feel like you're solving your issues for the first time. But most often than not, like if you go into one of those rooms, you're like, oh, okay, oh no, we've done that. This is what we did. And you're like, oh, cool. You just sort of jump that curve, right?
Yeah.
So much quicker. And I think it's super valuable. Yeah. But just have that support, right? Have other people in the trenches, so to speak.
Who've been there, who've gone through that, who had those challenges like that. That's the human connection that matters so much. Because you can know it in your head. You can be, that's how you do it. But to actually believe it in your heart and to deliver on that that's what matters.
And vice versa too. I think the nicest feeling too is when you can share something.
Yeah.
And say, hey, we did this. And they're like, oh, thank you.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, cool. All right.
Because we all like to help people.
Yeah,
we're wired to help.
That's
and
it.
That's how we're made.
No, absolutely, mate. And look, I mean, 20 plus years in IT, in the space. But why did you start Big Fish Technology? Let's go back and
go back.
Yeah, let's.
So I remember my very first client when I was at university and studying a Bachelor of Business and Bachelor of Information Systems, and I got
studied the same thing.
Oh, really? Which university?
Vic Uni.
Okay, I was at Swinburne. And I got word from someone that this person wanted to use internet on 2 computers. So back in the days of dial-up internet.
The fun times.
And I said, yeah, great. Let's lead into this and have a go. So I went and saw them and I put on a suit and I borrowed my dad's briefcase. Didn't have anything in it. And went out there and just had a chat, got them to show what they're doing. And then went home that night and called some friends and said, we're going to get all our computers together. We're going to make a thing called a network. And I this is not true, but I've always, maybe it was, the first ever LAN party happened then because we decided we're going to make a LAN at home and work out how we share this internet and do that across a few computers. And the next day I went back into this client and said, yeah, no worries, I can do that for you. Here's how I'm going to do it. Here's what the costs are, and let's go ahead. That was the first ever client. And
That's awesome.
yeah, it was a wonderful experience of going, it's actually not about having all the answers straight away. It's about being that person that is going to see it through and going to find out how it's done and be accountable for it after that.
Just give me 30 seconds. If your business is serious about certification and trust, you need to check out ISO 365. They make ISO compliance simple, practical, and sustainable by building your ISO systems inside the Microsoft 365 tools you already use. No extra software, no hidden license fees, just real control and ownership of your compliance. I love the work that ISO 365 does because they don't just hand you templates and walk away. They become part of your team as virtual compliance officers, guiding you from gap assessment through to certification and long-term compliance. If you want compliance that actually works for your business and helps you win trust and new contracts, check out ISO 365. And now back to the show.
So when Big Fish was born in those days, is that DNA of just seeing things through properly and being accountable and delivering on those results, that is like very much who we are and what makes us today. Like we love a challenge. We love come to us with a big data challenge or an operational challenge, and how can we best lean into that and use technology to solve that problem. That is very much in our DNA today, and still, I guess, is part of what Big Fish is. But so yeah, back in the day, and then email was starting off, and just help people get this email thing running. And so it was fun. It was just like new technology, learning new stuff, providing reliability when there wasn't. And this is back in the day when the IT guy was like he ruled technology. Like you got to have a good IT guy because they kind of like they're in charge, they're running the show. And what a shift now in that IT is part of the organization. It's got to leverage. It helps all the business units. It doesn't control it. So back in the old day, I think it was a lot more control-based. Now it's about working together across the entire business. Every single business out there, technology is deeply integrated into that. I'm walking here this morning to the State Library, and the IT guy here has obviously got the data cabinet open. I love going to those data cabinets, seeing all the switching and the cabling, because that foundational layer. And I still get excited by that, and I share it because whilst I'm not seen as a tech at all at Big Fish, but those days of curiosity and interest in how does the technology work, how can we make this happen, is still very much deep inside me, and which is why so I still now meet with every single new customer to say, let's understand that, because as a business owner, I understand what other business owners are going through, and I understand enough about the technology to then bridge that gap, so the team can get involved and help them. But yeah, in the early days, it was about seeing challenges, seeing opportunities, and just going out there and solving that. And you get pulled different ways as you go, and some people want to get you into that area or this area, but it's just at the end of the day, it's about people delivering great technology.
No, awesome. And what was from just your solo doing it yourself, and then stepping into actually going, okay, I need to employee number one.
Yeah.
Like, talk us through that. What was that like? Because I know, like, I did that myself, where sort of started my own IT company. It was me by myself. I'm like, oh, this is great. And I'm like, hang on, I'm doing everything. I need to let go. But what was that journey where you're like, okay, time to get a few people in?
So really process driven from the start. So I remember that first client I was telling you about, and I created this form that I'd fill out. So I'd write down the situation and the timings and the materials and so forth, and I'd put it on. I'd handwrite that out. It was a green piece of paper. I've still got them in this old archive. And then I'd go home and I'd give that to myself. I'd sit at my computer and I'd go into QuickBooks and I'd enter in the information into QuickBooks and then send it out. And the idea was, great, so as soon as I get big enough, I'm going to have someone else in that seat. So try and create that process. So someone else will take that paper and they do that. So employee number one came along and sat in that seat. And then probably the really exciting employee number two, then I realized I couldn't do all the technical work. I needed more people there. And I remember one client earlier on saying, Tristan, no, we want you. Like, you got to be that guy. Like, no, it's okay. Like, process, training, systems, structure, all that stuff counts. So you can deliver a consistent experience to everyone. Employee number two, my business now, and who's now my business partner, so Chris Paulson, came along. I remember his resume. He talked about flipping hamburgers, but you could just see there was a passion, there was an interest in technology. And in that job interview, I remember him showing me, hey, he'd come from another MSP or an IT company and said, look, this is what I did for them. I created these VoIP networks and interstate systems that all connected. And he was logging this stuff and showing me what he did. And he was so passionate about it. And that passion is still there today. I was like, this guy, I actually didn't follow everything he was explaining to me, but I could see the passion for technology and his ability to be able to make things work when given a challenge. And yeah, was very excited to get him on board. And yeah, it is just grown from there. And a really good feedback I had from a customer with once we had about 10 staff. He said, Tristan, it's really interesting. Every time I call you guys, it's the same experience. Like, no matter who I speak to, I just feel like I'm speaking to you because it's the same experience. And that to me was a really good mark of success. Not at all about me, but just about people get that consistent experience, consistent outcomes. When we go to McDonald's, I mean, we all know the food's awful. Like, we don't enjoy eating McDonald's.
It's always awfully perfectly the same.
It's always the same. So my hash brown at McDonald's is always absolutely identical. Like, no matter where I go, hash brown, maybe not a good example. Yeah, the McMuffin, like, I don't know if that's egg and bacon, or I don't know where it comes from. It doesn't taste real, but it's the same experience no matter which McDonald's you go to. I think there's a really good philosophy there. We still want to bring out people's inherent gifts and talents and that DNA, but to be able to provide the same experience, that at the end of the day, the customer just wants the technology to work. They want to have confidence in the technology. They want it to be reliable. So people just want that same thing. How it's delivered, that's up to us to deliver that in the most effective way.
It's unreal. And I mean, so looking back, and obviously employee number two is now your business partner, many, many years together. How important it is to find those right people and work with them.
Yeah, it's huge. I have a huge belief in potential and people's potential. Like, I believe, like, we've got an amazing team. Absolutely, so proud of our team, what they can do. The potential of what people can do, I think we all have that. It's just not me, and it's not just me. I think all people have that ability. People want to do well. They want to kick goals. They want to be successful. And I'm not saying I get this right, and the guys will listen to this later on, no doubt. But how can we provide the potential and the opportunity for people to continually grow? And we've said for so long in our recruitment process, as we interviewed new people, we said, you know, one of the directors now started off as the junior technician. Our general manager started off as a junior technician, and people growing with the business. Yeah. And that's been really special to provide. Like, the things we're doing now, we couldn't do that in years gone by, but everyone has leveled up, everyone has grown. That growth is exciting. Like, that's why people come to work, to make an impact, to make a difference, and to grow. And I love those staff that come and say, hey, I'm not being challenged enough. I want more. That's fantastic, because we can give people whatever they want in that regard. We can do more, but people need to have that hunger, have that drive. That's really important. And that's something I think is very much part of our DNA as well. That drive to be better, do great work. Having that drive just makes such a big difference.
Absolutely. I think, we always talk about, as an EOS implementer, we talk about people, get it, want it, have the capacity.
Yep.
They
GWC.
get it. Yeah, GWC. They get it and want it is so important, because they're the ones that you can't necessarily impact as a leader or as a business owner, because they're the ones that, like you said, Chris came in and he was enthusiastic about it. You can see he wanted it. He had the capacity, and you're like, okay, cool. Like, this is great. Like, it's ticking all the boxes.
Yes.
It's really, really important. And I think, how when you hire, are you still at the forefront when it comes to hiring at the moment?
No, sadly I'm not. And I'm difficult to. Maybe some people joke and say I'm really hard to work for. So I'm now sort of a little bit off to the side in the business. So I work with all new, new inquiries, but I don't have no one reports to me directly now, which you can read into that however you want. Maybe I'm just really hard to work for, or maybe it's something else. I don't know.
Maybe you've just elevated.
Yeah, maybe. So no, I'm not involved in the recruitment process at Big Fish now. So we've actually recently done some work with our leadership team on continually evolving, improving that process, because we realized for a while, hey, are we attracting the best people who get it, who want it, have the capacity for it, and really go back and really looking at our values around are these people aligned with that, and the values process. So a few years ago, we had values early on in the company that I think I made up and stuck on a wall and said, hey, this is what we stand for, and everyone had to you just had to embrace them. Then we realized, wait, we've grown past that, and people didn't have buy-in to these values anymore. And going through that process, and it's all part of the EOS model of what are the core values? Like, why are you here? And we realized leveling up. We are all about leveling up what people do. And what are your core values? Like, what is it that drives that? And it probably took us 6 to 12 months to, in the number of workshops and engagements and discussions and challenging and wordsmithing, to get to the heart of that was really, it was a great process. And it was a process that I didn't lead. I wasn't directly involved in it. And our general manager, Mark Lacey, he drove that. And we are so proud of the outcome. Yeah. Like we celebrate those values. And my business partner, Chris, was telling me the other day, it's not necessarily about the values that you have. Yes, you've got to have good values for sure. But it's how you stick to those values. It's how do you actually use them? Are they ingrained in the culture in the organization? And recognizing that and going, let's lean into it. Let's make sure every decision, every conversation is built around those values and they are being actively lived out, because the strength of an organization is based on how well you live out those values and how ingrained they are. So yeah, I'm uber proud of those values, and every customer I speak to, I share, hey, this is who we are. If we're going to be the right fit for you, I need to tell you this is what we stand for, this is what we believe in. If that's something that fits with you, then we're going to be a great match. If not, like if you're just about these other areas, then that's not who we are. So I don't think there's going to be an alignment there.
Mate, you're making me smile with that the values talk, and I totally agree. And I think that's the beauty of having those values and having your team live and breathe it is just one of those things that is magical when you start to see it. And we're kind of sounding maybe like we're, a little bit too happy right now, but ultimately it makes a massive difference. And when people know where they stand, how they fit in, and what they need to be aligned with the business, it makes a massive difference. But the fact that you're taking it to potential customers and having that conversation with them and saying, hey, this is who we are, this is what we stand for, that is just the goal that's taken to the next level and proving to the team that they're not just something that are printed and put behind the reception desk.
Yes. And I've been challenged with that. There are times like, I remember early on the values process as we'll define them was like, is this going to be effective? And I was so glad that I didn't get involved and didn't try and I think for a while I may have held that back. That was definitely a limiting factor. It's like, but it is so important to understand what you stand for and why you exist, and that should drive every decision that you make.
No, totally. And look, there's a reason why that's like when you look at the VTO at EOS, it's the first question, right? The number one out of the 8 questions, like, what are your core values?
Yeah.
Because
can I share our values?
Yeah, sure. I've got them here, but you go. I prefer you to. My question was like, how do they look up on a normal Tuesday? So
because as we were talking about that, I was like, I want to get this right. So actually, I pulled up my laptop to make sure I get this right as well. But it is something that we are really proud with. So clear and calm. What we realized in IT is that there is a lot going on, and it can be stressful, and you can be like stuff can go up. This morning, one of our clients had the ground floor of their building firebombed, and they're not in tobacco, and it's like, so we're called. Okay, we get the alerts. We're the first responders here to make sure how can we get this business running, and those situations clear and calm. It is so important, and it's something that it doesn't necessarily come naturally or easily to everyone. There are times that I can maintain that. There are times like, hey, Tristan, we're all about being clear and calm. If I'm overreacting or whatever, we've got to be clear and calm. In technology, clear and calm is so important. So number one, clear and calm. Number two, hardwired to help. And it came from that
I
earlier
like this
story.
one.
It's like
This is my favorite one.
and it's got obviously the bit of the play on words,
Yeah,
hardwired, cabling, IT. But we are hardwired to help. Like if you're not someone that likes to help other people, that's not okay. Like we want to help things. I've often said if you want to get an opinion from someone on our team, we've got you can stand outside the in the office and go, hey, what's your thoughts on this? You will get 30, 40 different opinions because everyone has a view. Everyone wants to help. We've then got to work out, hey, what's the right opinion there? But people, it's ingrained in them to be hardwired to help. Ingrained in us, very much a big part of it. Number three, progress with purpose. So we don't want to do something for the sake of it. So there is so much competing space in technology. Oh, here's a solution for this, solution for that, and just there's stuff out there fighting for your attention and for your dollar. We want to make progress with purpose. It's got to be with the right goal in mind and heading in the right direction, not just doing it for the sake of it. Because as an IT guy, you can quickly, I'll just make this little change and that's just fix it.
Such a trap, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And the quick fix isn't necessarily the right fix.
No.
So if we're going to have progress, it's got to be progress with purpose. Just good people is the fourth one. And this came from one of our customers because we spoke to our customers and said, hey, why did you choose Big Fish? What is it about Big Fish that you love? I said, you guys, you're just good people. And we tried to work with it. Is there a better way of saying that? Like, you guys, you're just good people. And that just came off from a customer when we were asking them why Big Fish. We're like, that nails it. Like, just good people. Having good people is everything.
Yeah.
And number five, built for business, because everything we do is got to be helping businesses level up. And that's not for profits, for profits. We look after publicly listed companies and small private businesses. It's being built for business, making sure that technology is right, because you can go and get, there is some bad gear out there, some bad solutions out there that's not built for business. So when we supply something, when we do something, it's got to be backed and built for business. Anyway, there are 5 values.
Mate, I love them. And I could just imagine that sort of being presented to a customer, but also to potential staff, right? So if a team member is going to join and you speak through that.
Absolutely. The values is and it wasn't always. And it wasn't until a little bit more recently we said, wait, Tick, are we hiring based on our values? Are we meeting people based on our values? And we realized we can do better there. So actually we changed the process to better integrate that into the recruitment process recently.
No, mate, that's awesome. You're music to my ears.
Is that your advice as an EOS implementer? You would have said that earlier on, would you? Maybe we could have thought of that earlier.
Well, I mean, ultimately, that's the key to like the values becoming ingrained in the business is like you sort of hit them, but you speak to them before you hire them, right? So from the start, they have this expectation or the understanding of like, this is who we are. We're hardwired to help. We're clear and calm. We progress with purpose. Like you explaining the key things that make Big Fish and who we are as a people. And that also helps you to then, as a hire and reward and fire, or what do you need to do based on those core values. So it's a conversation that starts at the early in the piece. Yeah. But I love the fact that you're having those core value conversations with the actual customers too, because that's like the next level, because it is really important because customers know who you are. Yeah. Because I think I've seen a few core values, which is like, no dickheads is kind of the core values. It's a common one. Not a common one, but I think that is important. And that works with customers, team members, as well as vendors. Like if you like, now that we just can't deal with you because, this is one of our things. So it's important, and then standing to those and basically, especially as a leadership team, it's really important that you live and breathe it, because as soon as you let the ball down and say clear and calm, and you're constantly flying off, yelling and screaming when something goes wrong, like then
it's just last week,
then it's like, well, that core value is on that, and you can't hold the rest of the team accountable.
Absolutely, it's got to be ingrained. I think it was Jim Collins in Good to Great where he talked about that engagement of those values and actually living by them. How well you stick to your values and how well you live by them. That is the biggest determining factor for a company's success. And we can always improve with that. We do monthly awards based on these values.
Yeah,
awesome. Which is great. But then I think anything in business, you can do things over and over again, and it can lose the flair, the taste. You've got to keep evolving and improving how you're doing that. Yeah. So it's not just that just happens because it always happens. It happens because we believe in it and it's important.
No, absolutely. And I think the beauty too is when you start to see your team members then start to call out those values as well without being prompted. Like we're heading to the right direction. And no, it's a beautiful thing. I saw that and I read them and I did. Yeah, I'm glad you went through them because that was definitely on my agenda to talk about today. But I mean, I suppose when values is one side of it, from the co-focus point of view for your business, you like those businesses that are 10 to 200 seats. What's that space like at the moment in IT, and what are the challenges, especially when you start to head towards 100 plus seats? Because we're talking quite large businesses, and there's a lot more at stake, but a lot more governance as well to be aware of.
Yeah. So, in a simple form, every business wants the same thing. Everyone wants reliable technology, things to work, and in the old days, I talked a lot about that. As long as we're delivering that reliability, those expectations, then it doesn't matter what size they are. What we've realized is, but the larger the business, the more complex it is, the more requirements there are, the more governance controls, controls that are important that they need to align to as well. So we realize where we specialize and can bring the most value to those customers who are at that size, because we've got the experience in that size. Some of those customers for us have been ones that have grown. So many success stories of businesses that have started off with a handful of staff and have just grown to that level. Other businesses that have had that level and they've got different pain points. Maybe they've had the IT in-house IT guy's been there for a while. I mean, one this afternoon, it's like, yep, had this guy for a long time, and he's kind of grown with the business, and but we're this big now, and they just can't do everything. And this is where, because we've got the breadth of that team and the breadth of experience. Well, yeah, one guy just can't do that anymore, and you've got all your eggs in one basket. There's so much risk associated with that. Or other organizations where they've had the outsourced model, and the company they've had outsourced to just hasn't grown. Or maybe they've grown more than the customer has, and that customer is no longer important to them.
Yeah.
So by having that sweet spot, that 10, 20 to 100, 200 seats, by having that focus, that sweet spot allows us to make sure that's what we're targeting. Everything we do, all our messaging, all of our training, all of our product stack, all of our security stack is focused on that size business. It means we're just giving you better outcomes.
Yeah.
Because we've got that experience there. If we're and you can focus on certain verticals, so we've got more experience in that particular area. So be it medical, accounting, and finance, professional services, building, construction. In those areas, we've got the experience because we do that for so many other customers in that same boat. So I think size is important and speciality is important as well.
And I mean, I totally agree. And I love that you sort of got that focus, right? Because I think if you try to help everyone, or if you try to have all the customers, it just never works well, right? You can't be everything to everyone.
Yeah.
And that focus is really important.
Which is hard. I've got to say, that is something that I've struggled with. I want to be all things to all people, and you just can't.
No.
And it's great to have people around me who can go, we can't. That's not right. We will be too diverse. We've had some times if we refocus, everyone gets better. Everyone will get a better experience and so forth. So that is as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, I want to anything's possible. We can do everything. No, the focus is really important as well. As long as I think people don't go, well, you only do accounting firms and therefore you're not the right fit for us. It's funny because every business has cloud software and needs security and has connectivity. So in one regards, they're all the same, but no, there is specialties as well.
And I also find that, that focus at the top and how that cascades down through the business is so important, because if your focus is wide, then supporting a wide client base. Yeah. And we were in that trap back in, when I was sort of in the MSP space, where there was no standards. We had different platforms, different pricing. You're like, oh my gosh, it takes so much longer to then right the ship as well, because obviously you don't want to give revenue a kick just to try and right the ship. But having the narrow focus means your client base is looked after better and your team gets stronger in those areas.
People crave clarity. We all want clarity. Where do I sit? An employee wants clarity in what are the expectations? What do I need to do?
Yeah.
Customers want clarity in where are you taking me? So it's human. We all want clarity. I find it hard as an entrepreneur. I find it hard because I'm like, I can be happy with grey sometimes.
Yeah.
But the clearer we can be, the better the experience for everyone involved. and it's expectation setting is such a big part of it. I was being with the new customer last night, and they're like, "Oh, we just want to have good, clear guidance along this journey." It's like it's just constant expectation setting. Let's make sure we're aligned, and that is so important. So clarity is a big one, and one that I've not always found it easy, because I think anything is possible, but also I know that when we do clarity, when we are clear, it helps everyone.
Oh, totally. And that's one of the worst things is when you're like, oh yeah, no, we said we'd do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's like that's one of the worst phrases I hear. And then you're like, okay, we've got to try and work that out. And then it just becomes firefights and anyway.
A big, and the guys at Big Fish know this very well, but a big passion of mine is we talk about two forms of communication, like have the conversation, connect, understand, relate. You've got to confirm in writing. Like it's got to be, because you'll fall back to that. If it's left to, but I thought you were going to do this. We've just let ourselves down. Like just put the outcomes in writing. I think sometimes we can spend too long on crafting the perfect email and so forth. It's like just that bit of communication is just to be short, clear, and direct. The relationship is vital, and you've got to do that. That's the human connection. What's in writing is just that here's the execution plan. Here are the 10 things that we're going to do for you. Here are the services we're going to deliver for you.
That's it. And like I said before, just cascades so much better through the team as well.
Yeah.
And I guess, one thing I'm seeing a lot, I've got in the space is there seems to be not a battle, but especially this is happening in Geelong a bit, but there's a bit of a battle for price, right? Everyone's sort of just like, what's the cheapest IT you can get? And I feel like and I reflect back on my time. So, I mean, I was only 2 or 3 staff and, I was not charging enough. And I'm like, why am I not scaling? And I got stuck and I sort of moved on and did other things. But I think the interesting piece right now is it just seems like there's this like, okay, what's the cheapest IT I can get? And then, I don't know, like it frustrates me that there's this big disparity between even in the MSP TSP space. You're like, well, you're charging that much for a seat or a head? Like that is like, how are you, what I mean? Like there's just no standards, right?
Yeah, it's so we are living in a cost of living crisis.
That as well.
We're heading off on a family road trip around Australia.
I want to ask you about that one.
Okay, and we got a diesel car for it, and looking at diesel prices and going, what a silly time to be going. But this is with the age of the kids, it's the right time to be going.
Yeah, perfect.
So we are in everyone is price is always a factor. It is never the first factor. And if people believe that it is, I think that is an unfounded fallacy. So is that a double negative? Maybe that is. That is not true. Let me make that simple. So we have to be. Everyone needs to be competitive. Like if you're not competitive, you're not in the game. You're not in the market. I was speaking with a new customer this morning on the way in. I think I mentioned before, and I asked them because they got all these problems with the current provider. I said, like, are you really price sensitive? Like, and they said, no. Like, happy to pay for it. We just want it to work. Because I was like, mate, is there a simple answer? Like, they're just not spending the money to just get this right. Like, if your internet keeps dropping out, like that's an easy fix. Like that is not a big challenge. So price is important, but I think people there's so much more than price. If you're competing on price, what a boring game to play in. Like that is not enjoyable for anyone. And I think there's very few customers I come across who's like, we're just doing a cost comparison, getting 3 quotes in, looking for the cheapest quote. You can smell that a mile away.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I hear that or get a whiff of that, we're just not going to be well fit because we're progress with purpose. We're built for business. We're great people. We want to level up like what you do. So what you're asking for is nothing wrong with that. There's fair requests, absolutely fair requests. Yeah. We're not the right fit for you.
Yeah.
Like there are providers out there who can do that. So, sometimes people, buying, we've got a solutions team at Big Fish, amazing guys. Like if you need to buy a computer or get any kind of peripherals, these guys work in that space all day long. Like when I got my last video, I said, hey guys, this is what I want to do. They're like, great, answer these 5 questions. We'll get the right computer for you. Now, I could go to JB Hi-Fi Officeworks and go and buy a computer and save a couple $100 and get the wrong computer. And we say to customers, you can buy your gear from anywhere, but we've actually got a couple of guys that specialize in this all day long, and they are brilliant at it. I absolutely love those guys because they will get the right gear. And it may cost you a couple of % more than somewhere else, but you got that equipment for 3-5 years.
Yeah.
Surely that's better spent. So I do I feel sad when customers do it. If someone goes, I got this cheap computer, can you set it up for me? It's like, haven't even running Windows Pro on it, and we can't have Azure join it, or it's just got like in the old days a spinning hard disk, whatever. It's like, you're just buying inappropriate products.
Yeah.
So price, you've got to be competitive. If you're not competitive in the market, you will be out of business. So we have to be competitive all the time. But people want service, they want reliability because technology is ingrained into everything they do. So do you want a provider that may not answer the phone and may not be reliable and might have a tech that's doing a poor work and save 10%? Or do you want a provider that's going to do it properly?
Yeah.
No brainer. I just got my car upgraded recently for this road trip. And it's like, I've got a couple of quotes, but at the end of the day, I went with a company that I felt good about, that I felt understood me and could give me what I wanted. Like, I haven't to pay more for that. That's fine.
Yeah, I think so too. I think people want quality and people want to be able to trust, right? But ultimately, what if someone is looking for to change providers or the technology providers? What are the key questions or what should they be asking? And because I feel like there's some misconceptions, especially around cybersecurity and AI these days, and on what people need. Okay. And what should they be asking for?
So. Really good question, and I'm worried I'm not going to do the question justice, but I'll give this a go. So we had a tender given to us a couple of weeks ago that we've been shortlisted for, which is great. And they were asking for all these things around cybersecurity, and it was a smaller organisation, and they wanted enterprise-grade security. They wanted RAID hard disk monitoring and all this stuff, which they never have a service. I don't know why they're asking for that. But a lot of things that we were questioning, like, is this aspirational? Or is this actually what you need today? And I think a lot of people don't know what they want or don't know what to ask for, or they will try and become the technician. And this classmate this morning, they said, should I just call the provider and get this cable installed? It's like, well, you're solving the problem. Like, let us solve the problem. We want to understand what you're trying to achieve as a business. We want to understand what your goals are and what your frustrations, what your problems are now. And then we'll help you solve that in the best way possible. So I think so much of it comes down to how we started this conversation around trust. Yeah. Like, you've got to find a provider that you trust and feel comfortable with. A provider that's been in the game for a while. A provider's got a deep enough team that can have the expertise that is in the regions where you're working geographically. So those areas are just provide base ground level things. But someone who understands you, they're not going to just push things onto you, but they actually want to understand how you work. I get a few times I get calls from people saying, just send us your price list. Just what do you charge for this? Like, it's just not how we work. Like, it's in our DNA to be built for business and to do progress with purpose. As a result of that, I need to understand how you're working. I need to understand what's going on here. I can't send you just a price for. I understand. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to achieve here, and so you can. And that's part of that early process. What I'm looking for from my side is around what are the things that aren't going to work. Because it's easy to focus on the good stuff, but what are the problems going to be? I love trying to find the challenges or the problems in the scenario. So have I given you a few things there? I'm not sure if I've given you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think it's that the trust, and then also just being understanding of what you need and where you're heading is really important. And like you said, like, teching up for the sake of taking up, so to speak, is kind of pointless as well. And especially in the world where now we're in, scaling is not that hard. Like, back in the day, you used to have a server and you used to have X amount of, so many terabytes of data ready, space just ready to go just in case you go or you want to spin up another server. But now these things kind of grow as you grow with the business, but then having somebody on your team or with you from a tech point of view that understands where you're heading, that's the important piece.
And I always had the AI conversation with people, like, so what are you doing with AI? Like, how are you embracing this? And everyone's, I'm dabbling with Copilot and trying this. So everyone's getting into it generally, but having a partner that can take you on that journey. Now, we are not AI experts, and I would never put us out there saying we are the people that can help you choose that right solution. But as IT guys, we understand the tech area, we understand the security side of it. So what we say, our job is to go, what's the software that you guys, what are the things you're trying to do? We'll make sure that is done the best way possible with that technology layer underneath it. So I'm always really interested in hearing people, like, where are you trying to go as a business? Like, is IT seen as an expense? Because a lot of it is consumable now. So a lot of the average things, so the per user, help desk support, keep things running, that's everyone should be able to do that properly. Every MSP out there should be able to do that. The good MSPs are the ones that can help you level up your whole the way you're using technology, your whole tech stack, and have those business level engagements, not those tech level engagements. So I think the basic stuffs, anyone should be able to do that, although I get surprised how people can get it so wrong. It's the business side of it. I think it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. And I mean, with that, I see this quite a bit, especially when it's a larger business. How important is it, to have your MSP in the room?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like decisions are made in the boardrooms around technology, about growth, and then you're like, and you go speak to the tech company, and they're like, oh, hang on, what are you trying to do now?
Yeah, I've got a classic example of one customer we've had for a long time, and this is often entrepreneurs are like this. They're business owners that we get told a week before the relocation, we're moving offices. Like, you got to give us more notice.
Oh, the week before,
and
that's
yeah. Or the new start, like a new employee starting tomorrow. It's like you knew they were starting like 2 weeks, surely. Yeah. Now, I love being agile. Like agility is one of the older values that we talked about. It just didn't quite capture the essence enough. But agility is important in business. So got to be able to respond, but it's got to be a partnership. Like if we're treated just like a consumable, then if you treat people how you want to be treated, like we want to be more integrated. So I get it. And this example I'm thinking of, these owners, they're very entrepreneurial, and even the staff don't know what's going to go on until it almost happens. So I think there is a bit of that. But the closer we can be to those decisions, the better. And there's nothing wrong. For some businesses, it is shop around, just get a low price.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to judge that. Like, if that's what you need right now, I understand that. Like, times are tough. And maybe that isn't the focus area for you right now. But, yeah, the closer we can be to those decisions. So I love bring us into the boardroom, have that conversation. And maybe it's just to understand. Often it's for us to hear, what's the conversations you're having? Where are you at with that? So when we talk about security, let's talk about the security standards. Let's go to NIST or Essential 8 or the ISO standards. And where do you want to pick yourself? Because I find it really funny. Some customers will go and get audits done. They'll get security audits done. I had one that I mean with today, I met a few weeks ago. And they said, look, here's the audit that we got. Look, the results are terrible. I said to them, but had you ever agreed that this security standard was important to you? No, we just thought it would happen. We've got to agree on the standards first. So before we start assessing and reviewing security, what does the business agree are the standards that we're going to meet? And then let's go and meet that. Yeah. Like, technology can do anything, but we've got to agree on what the standards are. The challenge with security is everything comes at a cost. Yeah. So we can do anything. We can lock down your environment and have zero trust security. But is that what you actually want, or is that an aspirational goal? And are you making those decisions based on the right information? Usually people in the boardroom aren't the technology people, so they might be driven by, I've heard this is really important, we're going to do this process. That I think is just so important to get right. And so for us, it's about learning what is important for you as a business. And if they're not sure, great, we'll help you on that journey. We can always level up your security, but let's just agree on the standard and just do it.
Yeah, no, love that. And I think that's so important. And I mean, if you were in a boardroom today and you're sort of having a conversation with a bunch of board members, what would you share in regards to what's changing with cybersecurity, but based on AI? Like what are those conversations like at the moment?
So the threats we see today, so cybersecurity has come a long way. So in the last 5 years, we've all heard of the ransomware, and we've had all the messages, Australia Post delivery, click here to redirect, or even the phone calls, and you should be able to pick it from a mile away by now. And so a big part of this, we now know security, it's not just about the technology, it's about the people. So the human risk management element is a big part of it. So understanding security is multifaceted. Yes, technology plays a big part in that, but the people play a big part as well. And I think a lot of organizations have understood this and are maturing or more mature in that way and doing the human education. And I often say to organizations, it starts from the top. Like if the CEO demonstrates to the team that security is important, that will filter through. But if they demonstrate to the team, like, hey, it doesn't really matter, it's okay, just go and use Dropbox, that's fine, just share the file that way, that will filter through. So that's kind of where we've come to a security. I think we've matured a lot. Australia, sadly, we are behind the world standards, and look at what Europe's doing, and the mandatory requirements on business to have controls. It's enforced on the businesses. I met with a financial planning firm a couple of months ago. I didn't end up going ahead with this, and they had 60 staff spread around Australia and Vietnam, and they were running their entire financial planning business off a single Dropbox account with one username and password shared by all staff.
No.
And this is a financial planning firm that is known in the industry, that is a high achiever and does great work, but but their posture and security was that bad. Now, we've got to change the culture. And so because technology is so accessible, like it doesn't cost anything to go and get a Dropbox or a Google Workspace or a Microsoft account. If the organization's not providing those platforms, the end users, they'll just go and do it themselves. Yeah. So it's got to be cultural. Sorry, you've asked a great question. I'm going a little bit broad with this.
That's fine.
When it comes to AI, so my voice, my face, that can be replicated now digitally. So the currency of trust, and what people are trying to do is they're trying to build trust that can be digitally replicated. And I remember texting my dad the other day saying, "Hey, can you transfer this money to me?" And I was just, as a test, I wanted him to call me and say, "Like, was this rude of you? Like, did you actually ask for that?" Because the AI can see everything you've ever written. It can see what you look like. It can hear your voice prompts. When I answer the phone these days, I don't answer with a explaining who I am or stuff. It's just like, who are you? You need to prove yourself to me. And it's sad we live in that world.
Yeah.
That so much can be faked. I'm disappointed that in Australia, foreign companies can come and make phone calls on our Australian network using our Australian numbers with like no repercussions. Like, we control this network, Australia. This is ours. We've got to get better at that. So Australia is lagging behind the world standards. Absolutely. I think we've come a long way. People are more aware of it, and the boardroom is now asking the right questions. But when it comes to governance and compliance, the boardroom is now a whole lot more aware of that. Problem is, it comes at a cost as well. And that's what it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we want all this. Cool, we can do all that, but that comes at a cost. So then it's about understanding your risk profile. So, yeah, we all want gold standard security, but we all want convenience and reliability and at the right cost. So it's understanding that risk profile. What are the mandatory requirements? So a financial planning firm or an accounting firm is going to have different standards to what a medical firm has or a construction firm. So what are your industry standards and how do we comply with that? When it comes to AI, what AI is going to do, I believe, it's going to just fast track the amount of scams and hacks and attempts, because the AI can do what humans. You used to need a pool of phones or someone in I say offshore country, it could be anywhere, just doing it. You don't need humans anymore to do it. The AI can do it. So it is just fast tracking how quickly this stuff can get out, how quickly we can emulate people and systems and trick people into doing things. And like, you can go and create a whole LinkedIn website it takes 5 minutes. So it looks like the real LinkedIn. It's not actually LinkedIn. So AI is fast tracking everything that can be done in the technology space. So that makes security a huge, huge risk, which is where we talk about zero trust protocols and so forth.
And I mean, like you said before, that human element is the biggest risk. What's the percentage? Like 98% of risk is the human, or whatever it is. I mean, education, I feel like right now is so important, especially in that AI space as well, and how much things can be manipulated. It is scary, isn't it? Like
This is why I said the next 10 years in AI, It is huge. Like the changes and what we see is going to be huge. And I think that's why the trust relationship, the human element, is just so important. We have to, yes, people need to be educated. People need to not trust the basics. My wife said to me the other day, just got a text, like, the rego's due in our car. And my instant reaction, oh, it's a scam. Clearly it's a scam. The rego's not due. Like, I would have paid that. And then I went and checked. I'm like, oh no, the car is in your name. And yeah, we did buy it a year ago, so potentially. And then she's like, yeah, I went and checked with Vic Rose, and it wasn't a scam. It was legit. And that is healthy, like, fantastic. Yeah. Like, a lot of families having code words to the kids. When the kids call out the parents, if they are in distress, there is a code word they can say to prove that it is the actual kid, not just an AI or someone else emulating that. Like, we all have to level up in this way, which actually breaks my heart.
It does.
All right, this is sad.
As you're saying it, as much as it's good, it's like, it sucks that we have to do that.
And it's because we live in a fast-paced world that is fully digital. Every interaction, every movement, every conversation these days is digitized. So and all that information is immediately available. And the reason why is at the moment, as we record this interview, pricing on computer hardware is absolutely just going through the roof at the moment. So the cost to get the standard compute, in particular memory and storage, are a big two costs, because AI is consuming so much. So globally, the data centers growth, if you're going to the growth in data centers, because there is just so much compute and storage required, it means the end users, we're just paying more for stuff now because it's being eaten up by AI. And we've seen with OpenAI and their examples, in order for them to grow, they just need massive compute. That's having this impact downstream on just the cost of the equipment that we buy. It's really blown me away. In the last 6 months, it has just jumped phenomenally.
I know. I must admit, I was shopping for a new computer just like last couple of weeks.
You should have called us anyway.
Well, I was I couldn't believe it. I was looking at the Windows devices, HP devices, and I'm like, how are these like $3,000-$4,000? Like these were not this expensive that long ago.
So the last 6 months, particular,
right.
it's absolutely gone off, and it's only going that way more. And I haven't got the crystal ball. There's other smarter people than me that can look at this stuff, but I don't quite know how we can keep up with it because AI is hugely demanding on power and compute. So it's a fascinating space to see that change. And as consumers, we experience that at the end. We would buy our hardware, but that's impacting businesses. The cost of cloud, the cost of these things is significant.
Absolutely. I just for the record, I bought a last season MacBook for a lot cheaper, and I'm like, oh yeah, that'll do.
As long as it works for you, that's
Mate,
good.
that's it. And I think it's I love a bargain.
We all love a bargain. Absolutely, I love a bargain as well.
No, absolutely, mate. Now look, it's been really great chatting with you, and I just want to know what's like. You've got 3 months road trip coming up.
Yeah.
What's 2026 got ahead of you? And like, I just want to talk about the road trip a bit more too. It's like, where are you heading?
So my wife and I sat down when we got married and said, let's start thinking what are some dreams we can have for the kind of amazing holidays, because we love to work, love doing work, but also it's important to have time off and do other things that you love as well. So we put in the long-term family plan, a Europe trip, an America trip, a around Australia trip, and that was the first one around Australia. So we're not a caravanning family normally, but in the last 6 months we've got a caravan, we've got a car that can pull it. So now driving a Toyota and it's just an incredible car. And so we are going to hit the road and travel across to Adelaide. The first night going to the caves, the second night we're going to farm stays, and then go up the middle, up the guts,
nice.
through Ayers Rock and all the way Litchfield and Kakadu and the national parks there up to Darwin. And then we're going to head across the Gibb River Road, which is a beautiful off-road track. And that's going to probably push our limits. We'll see how I go at changing tyres and so forth, if we even get through. And then head down the west coast. So beautiful west coast, all the way down to Perth and Esperance and so forth. And then time dependent, go across the Nullarbor back over to Melbourne. So I have called Dad and said, look, if we don't quite make it back in time, because taking the kids out of school for a term, can you come and collect it? And he said, yeah, he would do that. So I don't know where we'll end. I just can't wait to. And in this digital world, we're so connected, so much going on, fast paced. Having time of rest, and I've been learning about this a little bit recently. Just having time to rest and to be still and to go a bit slower. I can't wait. Now, I am an enthusiastic person and love what we do, but also I cannot wait to jump in the car with a family of 5 and just be together and grow together and learn together and see new things. A lot of the trip we haven't booked anything. We've got a rough itinerary, a rough plan, and we'll just take it as it comes.
Those are the great trips too.
It'll hopefully be really good.
Nah, it's awesome. And look, and how important is travel to you? Because I know you've done quite a bit overseas, obviously in Tanzania and Vanuatu and things like that, and you've done the Kokoda Trail, and there's so much I think we grow as a person when we do those sort of trips, right? And especially because obviously the volunteering stuff you're doing there as well, which is amazing.
Yeah,
talk us through that journey.
So that was some really pivotal trips in my in my life, and at the stage now, 3 young kids under 12. It's a unique season. So anyone with parents of kids, we know what that season is like, and it's unique and less time for yourself and than ever before. Those earlier stages in the 20s, as you're just understanding the world, you come out of school and it's like, all right, where do I fit in this place? What's my purpose? And just had some amazing experiences. In Vanuatu, we were building VIP toilets, and went with this organisation, and I thought, well, there must be toilets for important people, and landed in Port Vila. Then we got in a boat and we sailed for 3 days, got to an island, got the back of a ute, travelled for a few hours through rivers, had to carry our bags to the other side of the river, and got in another ute and so forth to this little remote village where they just wore, the boys just wore a mau, a piece of cloth just between their legs, and completely remote. They had one tap for the for about 100 people, and we were building VIP toilets, which I learnt then was ventilation improved pit toilets, which was unreal. So it was literally digging a hole in the ground, getting a little concrete slab and a thatch house on top of that, because this community had a problem with getting sick all the time. So rather than having one spot to go to the toilet, they just go anywhere in the area where the animals would roam, and then the flies would come and spread the germs. And it was just grassroots subsistence living, and through various different channels, it got through this group that I was involved with, who said, "Yeah, we just want to get some volunteers in to come and do that." Most eye-opening experience where you see life in a different way, and you experience life in a different way, and you learn and grow so much. So that they are still very fond memories as I share this story. I absolutely loved it, and it was yes, we were there to help. What the great thing was, we weren't the experts. Like I had no idea. It was actually about the community connection. It was about the heart connection, the people connection, and we learnt so much from the kids. I remember one day putting on my shoes to play soccer with the kids, and I got a little cut in my foot, so I took off the shoes and socks, put the Band-Aid on, and the kids come over, and then they started holding out their arms. They had cuts here and really full-on cuts and injuries. I'm like, oh, there's just so much need here. Yeah. We are so privileged. We lived in such a blessed city and country and time. And I need to do more giving back. Like there's a lot to give back, because I think that is so important. And we've become such a insular, self-focused society. I think it is so important to give back and to look out for others.
No, absolutely agree. And Tristan, it's been amazing to have you on the podcast today, mate. And thank you for sharing so much. I've got some great insights there to Big Fish and your journey as well. And wish you all the best on the 3-month road trip. I'm looking forward to following that on the socials and whatnot. But yeah, have an amazing trip, and looking forward to chat soon.
Fantastic. Thanks for your time, Ryan.
Thank you.